Hello guys and welcome to the ProDota Cup by Smashcast TV. We have the last match of the first best of 3 of the day between Unknown Team and Stars eSports, and this draft is going real quick, at least for Stars, because they want to get this overdone quickly. But before we do get into the draft, allow me to present our sponsor. XBet offers live betting on all ProDota Cup matches, offering the best odds live, by the way, offering the best odds and the highest payouts. Win with XBet, use bonus code BOUNTYX to deposit and get €100 free. So do check them out. If you're not betting with Bitcoin, check out XBet, and of course, my name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy the cast, guys. It's a pleasure to be able to cast these 3 games. And the last game of the best of 3 between Unknown and Stars, we already see a weird draft coming from both teams. On one hand, we have the Clockwork Shadow Fiend combination with Ancient Apparition Weaver. So, 2 really strong 2-man combos. Ancient Apparition Weaver, the Gemini attack and the Chilling Touch can actually win their lane, even in the off lane, making it so that you can actually run in a dual aggressive off lane per se, similar to the Abaddon Weaver that used to be run back in TI3, and then combine it with some sort of safe laner that can actually take advantage of the solo experience, like for example a Timbersaw, like a go for Stars. As for Unknown Team, they're going to have a Viper in the mid lane, a Visage here played as a support, and and Silencer as second support. Interesting that Visage is one of their supports, actually. Maybe even be, probably going to be a support Visage. We've seen carry Visage recently, but I don't think that's the case. It's weird to see Visage, honestly, in general, for this team. Jericho does play a mean Visage, so maybe that's the reason why. Or maybe they're just giving it to John, and John's a Visage player. I never really knew about this. Regardless, we'll see what the last 2 picks are. I mean, Hope goes for an early game domination into some bit of pushing power with Visage and Viper, probably combine him with something along the lines of, I mean, I wouldn't have gone for Queen of Pain, to be honest. I don't think, no, not really Queen of Pain was the pick. I think for Unknown, something that can give you a little bit of pushing power, like Juggernaut, for example. Klinks even is actually pretty decent on their team, but Klinks is not so much of an early game dominator. Bristleback and Ursa also come to mind, that these kind of heroes that will do decently, but again, against Weaver and Shadow Fiend, you might want to consider twice. Klinks does seem like a really good pick here. The last ban by Unknown, though, for Stars, they're going for a much more consistent mid-game lineup, so the Legion Commander actually would have been a really good ban, or a really good pickup here by Stars. We'll see first what Unknown runs. So as their carry, I want to say, right? Because sort of we're playing Earthshaker, Viper in the mid lane, Visage and Silencer supports. Ooh, Vengeful Spirit carry. I haven't seen this in a while. Vengeful Spirit for Jade Mighty. That's interesting. That's something that they do like running a lot. As for Stars, they now have the option to go for an offlaner, like for example Underlord would not be too bad to get that extra safety. But of course the Global Silence can be really mean against the Underlord. And you can even run a safe lane, like I said, Timbersaw, but Timbersaw seems a bit weak against what Unknown Team is running in general. Something along the lines of maybe, I mean, the options are really limitless right now. Axe perhaps is also, Axe is pretty bad. Axe is actually quite terrible. What other offlaners are run nowadays? Nature's Prophet, but you don't want that either. Wind Ranger's not bad considering the Ancient Apparition combination, but I think that's too excessive. We're concentrating too much on how good Ancient Apparition could be. Darkshore would have been their ideal pickup here, but of course they themselves banned it. And with a Sanking Earthshaker picked and Sanking banned, Legion Commander banned, and so is Darkshore, you don't have that many options. Nightstalker's still available for Stars if they want to run him in the off-lane position. And Nightstalker would actually not be too bad. It secures your lane, especially in that mid lane, pretty well. And you're able to run a dual off lane with Clockwork Nightstalker, or even get Nightstalker or Clockwork Robe of it. That's okay, considering that Weaver and Ancient Apparition should be fine in that bottom lane, pretty much entirely. We'll see. We'll see what Stars decides to go. I'm interested in what they want to run here. Actually, a lot of possibilities, but I don't. I mean, yes, because you already have a Silver Red user, already a Weaver. You're looking for some team fight, but the main team fight here has already been taken out of the pool. Axe is quite weak, and you don't like running him too much. Underlord does look like a decent pickup, honestly, here, because of the team fight it gives you, together with Ancient Apparition. Void is also not a bad idea, actually. We haven't really considered a Void, but Void is pretty good against most of what Unknown is running. Because the Eventual Spirit runs as a carry, Void crushes him completely, and Silencer is not that powerful if you go for the Manta style build. So yeah, Void not bad either. Void, Underlord. What else could they run? I mean, they could run Weaver offlane, but that seems a bit weak because you do need a bit of team fight. So Sven maybe as a carry, and then Weaver offlane. And okay, Clockwork offlane. Right. That's okay. That's okay. I would have liked to have more team fight though than just the Rubik and shit operation. It seems like a very weird support combo. Especially, like, they're very weak to the physical damage that Vengeful Spirit can put out. They're also very weak against Earthshaker's burst damage in general. They can win the lane, but you don't really need that too much. So you don't take too much advantage of having two supports that don't gank too much. You also don't have, in this situation, too much of a good... Like, you don't take advantage of the Weaver Ancient Apparition too much, really, with what they have. Because Rubik can't really help the Clockwork too much, and you're not going to win that lane anyway against a Silencer in general. The Visage is also really good against squishy supports, and both Ancient Apparition and Rubik are squishy supports. And not even in... I mean, he has a bit of magical damage, but the physical damage, you only need a Medallion, and they're already going to crush both of them. Especially if Weaver decides to go for a Desolator in general. Because then the Rubik and the Ancient Apparition, both low armor supports, are going to get destroyed by the Weaver. I gotta admit, I don't know what to say. It's really not that good of a lineup by either team. I kind of like Unknown's lineup to some degree because they do have a pretty good... Like, I understand the Vengeful Spirit to some degree. They have a good just team fight lineup in general, snowballing from the early mid game and trying to get a lot of kills with Vengeful Spirit, and of course trying to snowball a bit with the pushing power that a Visage brings to the table. That's not bad. Actually, their lineup seems to make a lot of sense. But that last ban, forcing the Clockwork into the offlane position, lacking a lot of pushing power because of this Clockwork in general. Sorry, not pushing power, because a lot of team fight power because of the Clockwork. You're going to run, again, two supports that don't give you too much team fight, but also don't give you too much ganking power in the early game. They're just kind of weak lane supports in general. And also really good at punishing aggression, but Unknown is not too reliant on aggression, but rather lane domination. And even though level 1 is pretty good, Jmadi himself is trying to go for Ned, knowing that they can get an easy kill early on. Glaives of Wisdom, there's the slow, Grave Chill really powerful. Ned taking a lot of damage from that Glaives of Wisdom. Jmadi wants to finish him off, but Ned will be able to outrun this with the early boots, saving his life there. Really good play there by Ned. He went for early boots. Position 4 Rubik is not a bad idea, it just doesn't happen to take advantage of that too much. And yeah, Enigma would have been a good choice. Enigma would have been a good choice as well. Actually, now that I think about it, Enigma would have been pretty good in general if it wasn't because you have a Silencer, which is probably why they didn't pick the Enigma in the end. Now they go on to Jian, doesn't have the Gravekeeper's Cloak, so really easy to kill him. Chilling Touch, also deal more damage to Jian. Good Grave Chill though to get a little bit of movement speed, and in the end they won't be taking that Bounty Rune, but they will still be taking their own Bounty Rune to Jmadi, not much loss there, and you also, again, force the carry to go into the distance essentially from here to so this distance is much shorter than this whole distance, right, for obvious reasons. So the carry will lose probably a bit of experience in the first wave, giving also the Earthshaker a bit extra gold in that first wave, as he won't be able to harass as much. And you can see the utmost lane domination. Last game we didn't see it as powerfully because I know they didn't run the Silencer in the mid lane so early, and you also had a Night Stalker kind of harassing you. But this game with the Silencer, it's going to be complete domination. You get the Glaives of Wisdom early on for just pure on lane control. And you don't really need to bother too much with helping out Vengeful Spirit in the early game. That's why this aggressive trialing works out for Stars, which is a clever idea. However, you could always rotate the Vengeful Spirit in the bottom lane, and that's not a big deal because, like Jmadi, it's not like a Vengeful is particularly good at the safe lane as opposed to the off lane. He does well at both. They can try to go for a kill though. Chilling Touch very powerful. No Gemini attack just yet, but Jmadi is still taking a lot of damage, and he's gonna go down first. That Grave Chill won't do anything to save him. Looking 6 though, will lose his life second as Jericho is able to at least rotate and get that kill. But they did lose their Vengeful Spirit. Much more valuable target, especially with the First Blood combined, than obviously a Ancient Apparition. And similarly in this mid lane, they left the Viper alone, which is time for the Shadow Fiend to kind of recover in terms of last hits. The only good thing that the Viper has is that he's already level 2, so he has at least 1 level across the skin, 1 level in poison attack, and also now 1 level in Nether Toxin. Once he gets to level 3, it's much harder to win the lane against him. Jan being harassed thanks to that Chilling Touch, very powerful. I would not be surprised if they max it, and I would love to see them maxing it actually. Nope, Wob the Creator, careful. There's Jian, stopping him completely, and they're gonna kill this poor Wob the Creator. Jian losing his life as a result, but hey, again, similar trade. Carry for support, much more beneficial for Unknown, especially if you run an aggressive tri-lane, as an aggressive tri-lane really cannot be losing against a defensive one, right? In general, these kills, whenever you put on aggression, the whole point is that the defensive one should be able to win in last hits, but the aggressive one should be able to win in, ganks and team fights and engagements. And in general, it doesn't seem like that's happening at all. It's actually the inverse entirely. As G-Mai is having a really tough time last hitting. No fairy fires early on, went for a magic stick as he knew there was an aggressive tri-lane, and it's harder to last hit with his hero, to be honest. Not the highest base attack damage compared to a Weaver especially. Now in the mid lane though, Sooth's gonna kill into the Viper, and I completely missed it. It was just not even a raise combination. I think the Viper just pulled a bit too far and thought he could get the kill and couldn't. Was concentrating very much on this aggressive tri-lane for obvious purposes. In the bottom lane, you also have Sword fighting against a Clockwork, and I would not be surprised. No, actually top lane, we see the Vengeful Spirit going down already. In exchange for another Ancient Apparition, more intelligence for Jericho. Jericho only got the intelligence for the first kill on the second one, while the creator will sacrifice himself for this kill. Was that really worth it? I don't know, actually. That kill ended up going to a couple, ended up splitting a couple go between them. Vengeful Spirit now gets a lot of farming speed, or a lot of like free farm essentially, because he's left alone in the lane for a while. A bit of experience going his way as well, which is great. And yeah, this ends up being pretty beneficial for the guys at Unknown. In the end, that's a pretty fair engagement, but they get free farm out of it and also get 3 kills. Which again, it's only support in the early game, not a big deal, but you're running aggressive tri lane, you're supposed to win this lane. That's why you run the aggressive tri lane. Not allowing your supports to rotate mid lane to help the Viper out is not that big a deal. However, J-Madi telekinesis, and with a chilling touch, there's a dead Vengeful Spirit. Cold Feet not gonna trigger though. Oh, he might survive. Cold Feet will trigger last second, and that's gonna be a Vengeful Spirit losing her life a second time. They want to go into Jian, but they don't have a second stun, and Ned is just being pushed away by Jericho here. Whereas in this mid lane, like I was saying, you don't really, you want your own supports to be able to gank this mid lane so you can force the Viper out of lane or help the Shadow Fiend to some degree. But Shadow Fiend is doing pretty well early on, which is probably something that benefits him. Oh, they're gonna go into Ned, Jericho, not the best plan. You don't even have last word for extra damage. And the other thing that you're benefiting from is in this bottom lane, Sword should be winning the lane. I'm actually quite surprised that he's not. Because the Earthshaker with the build he's going for, which is the Aftershock build, is usually much better against melee heroes. Clockwork does have Battery Assault, which is also really good against melee heroes, but if playing properly with Earthshaker, especially with Vision, because Battery Assault can't hit you if you're out of Vision, then you should be able to get for a lot more engagements. However, Sword has not been playing aggressively here, just trying to get enough last hits. And the other thing here that is to be noted is that Clockwork does not benefit from this bottom lane farm. He's actually not that good at. I mean, it doesn't really matter if he wins that lane or not. It's okay, like it's okay because he beats the Earthshaker, and that's great. But you don't really benefit from getting free farm as a Clockwork because of a lot of reasons. But because a lot of reasons, but mainly one of the reasons is that Clockwork's build-up is really, really cheap and doesn't do much for him. That's why he's probably going for either treads early on. Wow, I hate those treads on Clockwork. I'm a big fan of Arcanes oh, they missed that. Okay, that was a huge range. I'm a big fan of Arcanes or Phase Boots anyway on Clockwork, but his build-up is not really that expensive, whereas Earthshaker does do a lot with just a Blink Dagger, and that's something to be reckoned with, right? Sword, getting those last hits is very important so they can get his Blink Dagger early, and so they can start crushing enemy team with just constant Echo Slams. Whereas Clockwork, if he does get his early items, say he gets a Force Staff and he gets a Blade Nail, it's not that big a deal. No, John gets revealed by Ned. Ned knows there's a smoke angle of some sort. Jericho finds him though. Ned might lose his life here. And sacrifice himself in front of Roshan. Will still lose the intelligence anyway. Good usage of the vision. Actually, wow. Is he going to make it out of here alive? Ned? The Arcane Curse is still slowing him down. One last Slaves of Wisdom and not enough damage. And Ned again surviving because of the usage of vision here in that Roshan pit. What a clever play. No, Weaver is not supporting. I don't know why people are saying. Weaver is playing pretty well. I mean, he has 18 last hits, better than the Vengeful Spirit. Aggressive tri-lane, makes sense. And I mean, you don't expect him to do better than the Venge, or sorry, you don't expect him to do better. Yeah, you don't expect him to do better than the Venge, but you also don't expect him to do too well. So he's exceeded one of our expectations, which is okay. And now let's see. Yavs is trying to gank this mid lane. Batter's on level 3. A lot of damage to the Viper, even if Corrosive Skin is level 3. I have a tough time. Very close to the Viper Strike, though. Do you want to really fight against that Viper Strike? Yep, already got it. I'm going to use it on the Clockwork. Clockwork uses the cogs. The raises are coming up. Vengeful Spirit want to rotate to this lane. The Viper's already dead, but Viper Strike will destroy this Clockwork. Magic Missile not even needed. Don't know why you used it, actually, there. Could have gotten a second kill on maybe the Rubik, but whatever. Jmadi rotating unnecessarily. At least he gets some free farm from this lane, or should get some farm from this lane at the very least. Zeus wants to put a lot of pressure onto him as soon as he sees the Vengeful Spirit. He starts to attack it. And the bottom lane, we already see Sword trying to stop the Clockwork. Has an Echo Slam, didn't use it in time, could use also a Fissure. Sword wants to fight this. Okay, Fissure. I can't use it, can't get it off with Oh no, Sword. Bit off him more than he could chew. Is gonna lose his life here. Yep, that Cold Feet will just finish him off. That was a really big mistake there by Sword. Loses his life. So lag, guys. I swear to God, that was lag. And for now, Stars closer to those first 10 kills. And Unknown losing the Earthshaker at that bottom in one of the weirdest engagements I've ever seen. I mean, Clockwork and Earthshaker are both really strong heroes against melee heroes, so they both should be able to counter each other. But the playstyles are very different. Earthshaker wants to juke in the trees and try to use this area over here to try to get kills. Because there's a lot of lack of vision, Enchant Totem hits you despite the lack of vision, whereas Battered Assault doesn't. Clockwork, on the other hand, likes fighting in open air. So the choice of not only missing the Enchant Totem, but continue to fight this once you miss the Enchant Totem, huge mistake there. Huge mistake. Because it didn't really help him whatsoever to do that. I don't really understand the point of him committing so much. So in the end, they lose the life of the Earthshaker down bottom. Unknown, giving a slight advantage to Stars. Stars who will happily take this advantage and start to win the game. After all, Jmadi is playing a Vengeful Spirit. They do rely a bit more on getting the early game. Wow. Go. Alright. Yep. So just wants to play. Seems like it's heated in here. It is heated actually, so I can tell you that. Now, Ned, oh, John, careful. They found him. Telekinesis. Can they fight this? They won't. It's a pretty cheesy strat to go for the Jimmy attack and Chilling Touch, but I love it. I miss this build. I actually don't understand why A's max Cold Feet so often as opposed to Chilling Touch. I mean, that extra hit is not really that big a deal. It does increase. It doesn't really decrease your cooldown by that much, so that's the idea. But it does increase your damage by a lot. Jmadi, though, in the mid lane, probably going to go down. Yav's following him through. Better Assault available. Starts attacking it, and there's the Viper joining in, but Wab isn't going to commit to this kill. Jmadi will lose his life. Wab still has that Shikuchi to save himself, so it's fine. And another kill onto the enemy carry, making it so that Viper is going to have a lot more impact, but that's not going to be a possibility. Sword, though, getting a kill on the Ancient Apparition alone in this bottom lane. Pretty good. Committing an Echo Slam, though, as a result. And well, the issue here is that for Unknown, they don't really have a recovery mechanism if their early game does not go too well, and their early game is not going too well. And then Provincial Spirit can't really recover, unlike last time where they had a Terrorblade. And with a Viper, it's a much better combination. The Vengeful Spirit really relies on just winning their lanes, and that aggressive tri-lane worked really well from Stars. They read them in perfectly, and they played them like a fiddle. Smoke from the guys at Unknown now. 3-man Unknown smoke. And with this, I actually don't know what this is. Like he has around him. Was that like an immortal? Or what? Why are there stones around him? Okay. Oh, yeah. I just heard a hook shot. But that hook shot was for the Viper in the mid lane. That's an easy kill on the Viper. Battery Assault dead. Sword comes in to a Cold Feet though. He might just go down. Telekinesis to make sure that he gets frozen. And a frozen Earthshaker is a dead Earthshaker as Yavs gets hit by the last ward. Also destroyed by Gian. At least they get that kill. Sudes, Requiem of Souls, hits a couple, but it will go down himself as the Weaver comes in, destroys Gian, uses the Swarm, and wants to go for more. Jmadi's the next objective. Weaver going in, finishing off Jmadi, and now killing off Jericho with the Swarm Vision, helping him out entirely. And with that, that's a team wipe going in favor of Stars. Now trying to find the tower in the mid lane without much success from Unknown defending this. They will have to TP, force to TP, minute 9, a team wipe. That's not what you expect. And I mean, we already see Stars leading by 2k net worth. And we actually, if we look at the graphs, which I don't like using anymore, or I don't use as much anymore. What was the graphs? But Yes, that's how little I use it. That's not. That's the graph. Okay. 3,000. Yeah, it's close to 3,000, so it just says 2K, but it's almost 3,000 net worth lead, which is not surprising considering that team wipe that just happened. And like I said, Unknown really doesn't have way to recover, but the Shadow Fiend here himself is starting to do the flash farming of trying to get a couple stacks, which is going to make a huge difference, as the Weaver can start getting a lot of kills using that, you know, those early levels. Once you get level 7, you already have Max Shikuchi, so you can go for a lot of early engagements, especially in combination with an Ancient Apparition, is Chilling Touch, and an Ancient Apparition that's really close to getting level 6, so Ice Blast ganks. And now on the top lane, we also see the Clockwork doing the same, finding J Muddy. He's level 7, J Muddy only level 5. Battery Assault hurts so much. Couldn't get the cogs off though. Tread switch, tread switch, tread switch. No need for it. Battery Assault will finish him off. And he must have a plan of escape. No, nope, does not have one. Can tread switch into Battery Assault though in a couple seconds. Or should be able to. Cogs still available. Yavs will run away. And the mid lane, John actually gets a kill into Limilkin 6. Telekinesis. Steals his Viper Strike. And that's the only thing you can steal. So I don't think you needed Telekinesis for that. But hey. That's pretty good steal anyway. Viper Strike without any of that cast point. It's pretty important. And now, in the bottom lane, the Visage will not be finding anyone. And Stars themselves smoked up and trying to go over this bottom lane, trying to see if they can kill Jericho. Let's see, the objective is to find Jericho, and Jericho, well, it doesn't seem like that's the objective, but they will find him anyway. Viper Strike onto him, and with Battery Assault, too much damage. They don't even need to commit to this too hard. Jericho will just lose his life, and Jan will be able to TP in time. Already has Medallion of Courage, which is very important this match, as those two supports are very squishy. However, Stars, after this better execution in the early game, are starting to lead by a lot, going to the mid lane, and trying to also harass the Viper out. Only for the Requiem of Souls build, actually going to go for a early Dragonlance, much like they did last game. However, this should be much more effective for Suits, as he's going to get a Dragonlance, a much better timing, and he's only fighting against one relevant core. Vengeful Spirit has become a support, pretty much, and this is the joke that exists in Peruvian teams. What a beautiful steal of Fissure. That X, that's amazing. Sword can't go anywhere, tries to hit the cogs, but what is he going to do? Destroyed by a Ned steal, and this is why they pick him Rubik position 4, because he's so goddamn good in this hero. So, good job there, Ned. And with this, Stars will continue this pushing, with Yavs looking to get a kill onto Jericho. Ice Blast will find him. Jericho, oh, he's been stunned out. There's the Ice Blast. Jericho, what is he gonna do? Yavs, last word onto him. Double stun, and he's gonna go down as Jericho survives this. Ice Blast did nothing really there, but they I think they got a bit too cocky with the Clockwork. And the top lane, you even see a possible gank. Lilkin 6 doesn't have Ice Blast, but in comes Suits. Requiem of Souls available. There's a Fissure. Now they don't have any more stuns. The Echo's not even committed, but it doesn't catch Suits because Suits has a haste rune, is way too fast. There's the first raise, second raise, no need for it. John goes down. Wrong swap. J-Madi catches the Air Shaker instead. Wants to stun Suits, but he's gonna go down himself as Suits survives this with just a couple of tread switching, and the good usage of the bottle ends up meaning that the Shadow Fiend will not die in this engagement. They kill the enemy carry plus the support, and even want to take the Visage Familiars with them. Can they do so, though? That's an extra 100 gold, and they do want to destroy them. That's a golden beetle. What a beautiful little golden beetle. And both familiars go down, thanks to that Fade Bolt damage, and of course those swarms, meaning that Unknown will be losing a lot of gold to the enemy team. And in the bottom lane, of Vipers fighting against Clockwork alone, and Clockwork might just be winning this. He's way too slow because of the Viper Strike. Hookshot in 6 seconds. Might want to fight this, but of course, with Viper using the salve in the right time, Clockwork is unable to get that kill. However, Yavs did force the Viper to use a salve, so that's not bad at all, showing the domination that the Stars has this game. Seems like Stars might be the stronger team after all. At least in terms of the execution, they've been doing much, much better. Now we see an Ice Blast. Where's the Ice Blast gonna hit? Is the objective? Oh no! The Viper! Walking right into it! And they see him! Where's the Rocket Flare? He can't heal! They have to hookshot him or something! No, come on, Yavs. He actually already wasted the hookshot earlier. That's why he couldn't catch the Viper. He got way too cocky. Should have waited for the Ice Blast and could have been a kill. That's unfortunate. That was a really good Ice Blast. Very good prediction. Think that's going to go for the Shrine. And of course, the Viper would just waste a Shrine for nothing. It's pretty useful. Anyway. Top lane, Weaver wanted to go onto Sword, instead decided to farm. No big deal. Again, they don't have much of a rush, and they're waiting for the Desolator to really peak and try to get kills. They already have Medallion of Courage and the enemy team, so Desolator can really offset that Medallion of Courage. extra armor on Visage, especially because he hasn't maxed Grave Skipper's Cloak or got a single point in it, really, just one single point. Not that much armor that it gives you with only one single point, so Visage is a pretty squishy target right now. High HP, sure, because it's a pretty nice strength gain as well, especially for a support hero, but you really rely on that Gravekeeper's Cloak to keep you alive in terms of armor, and against a Weaver, he can destroy you with just a Swarm. There's the Ice Blast, they've dedicated Mari, they hit him. No, they want to commit the Swarm. Also missed the Rocket Flare. Seems like an ROTK build, huh? It brings me back to ROTK days when you used to max Rocket Flare on Clockwork just to play with Ancient Apparition. Good days, man. It's very nice seeing old builds coming back, or old traps coming back, because they just, beams just enjoy them, right? And then they'll get an Observer Ward up here. So it's gonna start pushing this guy. Or no, Echo Slam finds him. Telekinesis bring back. Hookshot misses everyone. And this poor Shadow Fiend might just lose his life. Requiem of Souls, but it's only a Requiem of Souls of Death as the Ice Blast hits everyone. They actually swap the Clockwork into a bad position, but they might just kill Sword as a result. Jobs still alive. Battery's all hitting so hard. He wanted to go on J-Mari and will sacrifice his life for a kill on the enemy carry. Wants the Creator. He has a Shukuchi also a time lapse. Heals completely back up. Can't kill Jericho in time. Ned also can't get that kill, even with the Enchant Totem. Here comes the Ancient Apparition, and they steal the Viper Strike again from this Viper. That's why Rubik is so valuable against them. And why Anagonims is great this game, by the way. It's guaranteed steal every single team fight. Because there's nothing else you can steal from a Viper, so as long as he's used something while he was alive, you can just always steal Viper Strike. And that means that the guys from Unknown.xiu win a team fight, I would say, because they do kill the Shadow Fiend. Yes, J-Mari loses his life anyway. And it's pretty clear that they're just deciding that J-Mari is going to be a support at this point, letting Sword maybe be more of a carry. I don't really see how J-Mari can recover this game. Your Vengeful Spirit, as they continue ganking him constantly, they need to get a really good team fight and get recovery gold that way. Also, Viper is the other, he's the main carry of this team, but if they find a way to stop him, like a Heaven's Halberd, for example, on a Clockwork, that would be a great idea. Clockwork barely needs items, really. Force Staff, if anything. Agams is great, but you don't really need it as much. So, going for Heaven's Halberd would help a lot against the Viper. And Ice Blast hits both. What a beautiful Ice Blast. Hookshot as well! Two beautiful skill shots that find the Viper in the trees and finish him off swiftly. As they also want to go into Jericho, the time-lapse helping out this Weaver a lot. And the objective still remains to be seen. Is it the Silencer? Nah, they don't want to commit too much. Solar Crest is quite dangerous. I did see him entirely. Of course, those familiars in that sentry. Observer Ward, they caught them in time. That was a really good, really well placed Observer Ward. Doesn't block the camp, but does still give you the same vision. And soothes. Trying to find Sword with an Invis Rune, easy Requiem of Souls. Honestly, I don't see how Sword can make out of this one alive. Unless he goes to the tower. There's the Telekinesis, Viper Strike as well. Cancels her Blink Dagger. Sword comes with a Fissure, but a Stolen Fissure keeps him in place and ends up destroying him. Stars now decide to take a tier 2 as well. Meanwhile, now top lane, J-Mari is being harassed. Cold Feet won't trigger, but he'll TP in time. Did the Ice Blast hit him though? It did not. So J-Mari can just cure himself back up. That was unfortunate Ice Blast. While the guys from Stars will proceed to take a tower up in the top lane. Desolator going the way of Wob the Creator. And this helps to take them towers unless the Echo Slam murders him. No! Global Silence! Trying to kill the Weaver, and the Fissure will finish him off. However, Earthshaker still stuck to the ground because he's been frozen down. Yavs being Magic Missile to the spot, and with the Cogs, can he make it? I don't know, maybe not. Yavs trying to TP away, and this will be his lucky day. Yavs ensures that Stars doesn't lose the Clockwork disengagement. Only a Weaver lost in this lost in the top tower lane. Anyway, that was a fantastic... that was a pretty good play by the Clockwork, almost saving the Weaver. Great hookshot, honestly. It's unfortunate they still lost the offlaner there. And losing the Weaver is pretty big here for Stars, because that's something that can recover Unknown. However, they don't get that goal to go to Vengeful Spirit. And I got a bit too excited, because of course, I kind of want Unknown to recover a bit, so it's a bit more of an even matchup, because it does seem like Stars is wrecking them right now. And like I said multiple times, it's just a really hard matchup to be playing, unless you get a lot of kills. And to some degree, it is nice to see a bit of an even matchup. It just seems like the inevitable stomp for Stars, who have a better way to recover, are already winning in the early game and mid game, and have cornered Unknown into a draft that doesn't really have that many possibilities in terms of pushing power. Or sorry, in terms of just versatility. Hookshot's available, by the way, and Yas has a double damage rune, so he could go onto the Viper if he saw him. Doesn't want to commit too much just yet, though, because he doesn't want to lose all this advantage he had. Let's see. Yas himself has a rocket, has the double damage still available, so again, they're probably looking for a team fight, maybe even looking for a Roshan with Desolator plus the presence of Dark Lord Aura. Yeah, that's pretty good. Actually, that's a lot of minus armor to the Roshan. The Swarm also helping out. Double damage on the Clockwork and Battery Assault to keep him in place, so he can't actually use any of his annoying stomps. That's not bad. That's a pretty early Roshan, meaning that's an Aegis probably for the Shadow Fiend as he's closer to die. Yep. And now the Shadow Fiend can go for much more difficult engagements, which will help him out a lot in trying to win those games. Oh, there's Jericho, caught in a hook shot. Global Silence, will it come out? Ice Blast will just finish him off, and Jericho, without that Global Silence, can't do much. They're going to see Clockwork though, finish him off. Viper Strike onto the Vengeful Spirit, and that's the second objective here. J Madi, a lot of damage, and they even commit the Swarm there to try to kill him off. From behind, though, we see the Gian actually annoying Soothes, losing his life instead. Actually killed the Rubik. Wow, that's really important, killing Ned. Ned needs a 4-staff now, or so he decides. An Aghanim Scepter, I think, could also be really good this game. But again, you do need the mobility on the Rubik first, especially when you have 2 squishy here. Must be the lag, you say. Must be the lag, even though the pings benefits unknown this game. And you don't go all in Tier 3 Dota, or Tier 2 Dota, because it's Tier 2, not Tier 3. There's technically Tier 2 America. You don't go all in because you never know what kind of outdraft could happen. And Unknown is one of those teams that does like to go for these very risky drafts, like for example Viper Vengeful Spirit, which is not too beneficial if you do start going behind. As you can see, they're cornered into the same strategy, which is trying to get kills and kills and kills against a team that actually benefits from more team fights. Because even though the Echo Slamming Earthshaker can be really useful to turn things around, right now Stars has a lot of ways to deal with that, as the Weaver is a pretty high mobility carry that can evade the Echo Slam by just not being in the team fight. The Ancient Apparition can stay from behind pretty easily, and also Ice Blast you regardless. Ned himself, also with the Blink Dagger, is able to fight from behind, and Zeus is a pretty large attack range to this Dragonlance, meaning that Unknown doesn't have the worst of team fights. Oh, sorry, it doesn't have the worst of team fight starts. So Unknown doesn't have the upper hand in there anyway, and they do need to recover somehow for the Vengeful Spirit. Let's see, Suits. No Silver Edge, but enough damage anyway. Ice Blast, no need for it, but hey, they'll commit it anyway. Lilkin 6 getting that kill onto the Viper. And they even hit those familiars on the way. Wow. That was almost like perfectly timed. Chooses the Ultimate Orb, has a Silver Edge to his possession. Now means that the Viper will not have an easier time because all his passives taken away, meaning that he's going to rely much more on items, but he is quite behind in terms of items. Only a Hurricane fight to give him the necessarily tank ability in this game. Let's see, Sword with a Blink Dagger. Might find the Rubik, Soul Crest, Ned going down, Fissure, no need for it as the damage from John is already enough, and killing off this Rubik, pretty important as he's become a pivotal member of this team. Actually, the Visage Gian has been doing a really good job this game of just trying to keep his team afloat by killing all that supporting cast by Stars and preventing, you know, constant aggression by them. Whereas you have a Weaver here going for a BKB himself, trying to up his tank ability. Similarly, the Shadow Fiend is going to trying to finish off his Hurricane Pike, so he can just kill off supports as easily as this. Visage is doing so. And Visage himself is actually getting an Aghanim Scepter to try to increase his damage. Don't know why he spammed that. And now we see the Viper in the top lane. They see exactly where he is. And where's the aggression continuing from Stars? Seems like they're trying to divide and increase their farming potential. If they increase the farming potential of their team, or like they just make the map bigger, as some people say, to increase the amount of farm that they're getting in a second, it's just more beneficial when I don't have BKB, right? Because they don't want to fight against an Echo Slam entirely without Wild Creator's BKB. See, this would have been a really good Echo Slam, but they didn't have vision of it. And Ned now coming from behind still has a Blink Dagger, so he can steal the Echo Slam if the Earthshaker's not careful. The whole point is to have vision superiority, so you have the upper hand when in these engagements. And look at the Earthshaker. He's planning on using an Echo Slam, you can tell. Nope, Fissure. Nope, that was a terrible Fissure. Oh, not even dealing any damage, so, or a stun. Whereas Ned is angled perfectly. He can definitely steal the Echo Slam if he just blinks in, steal, and Echo Slamming out. And they soared that tier 2 already. So they couldn't do much against it. Hookshot, now the initiation from the Clawcrook. They find J-Madi attacking from behind. The battery assault too much damage. And this poor Earthshaker won't be able to use his ultimate before he dies. However, this Clawcrook has bitten off a bit more than he could chew and will be killed in the sidelines. The Creator sees the Courier. Courier sees him actually. And he's forced to retreat. Couldn't kill the Courier in time either. Whereas Gian is now fighting against a whole team. Wants to kill the Ancient Apparition. Glimmer caped him to save him. And Soothes, stunned out by the Familiars. He can't fight against the Viper alone. He loses the Aegis. Well, the Creator goes onto the Viper and telekinesis to bring him back. This Rubik steals the Viper Strike. Hits the Viper with it. Silver Edge not available to take away the passives, but there's no need for it as the own Viper Strike will kill him off. Time from the Weaver to save her life, and in the end, they're going to decide to go for the tier 2 in the bottom lane. Wow. That's going to work really, really nicely for them. As we see Weaver getting earned up and TPing himself away. Full armor going for the Suns. It makes a lot of sense. You're up against a Weaver. You're up against a Weaver. You get that full armor. Who has better late game? Good question. Definitely starts. Out of the question, starts. You're up against a Viper and a Vengeful Spirit. Even though Vengeful Spirit can technically recover, with Vengeful Spirit is one of the few heroes that you ask, will she get to the late game, right? At all? Like, will Vengeful Spirit, will she be able to go and get farm enough so that you can consider her a late game hero? And the answer oftentimes is no, probably not actually. There's a chance that they just don't have the farm on the Vengeful Spirit ever to allow her to go into the late game. Because she's just a hard hero to farm on, especially if you're losing. You do depend on those engagements. And you don't really know how to use the swap when you don't have items. He actually went for a Shadow Blades, probably a Silver Edge build to do some of the damage on Shadow Fiend. Good stats on the Vengeful Spirit, but not particularly items you want to go for. You rather go for Dragonlance, Hurricane Pike early on. And you even see a Visage more farm than the Vengeful Spirit is. Probably going for a Visage carry, actually, seeing as he's going for Assault Caress. Maybe J-Madi is going to relegate himself to position 4 and let the Visage be the carry. Not a bad idea, I'll say. Because this Visage, as winning the game for this team, is a pretty decent carry, as we've seen No Tail run it. It's actually not the craziest of ideas. Solar Crest is pretty efficient on a Visage as an early game item, which means that it doesn't cost that much gold, which means that you can go for a more carry like build with Assault Caress later on without much loss in your traditional build-up. And of course that plus 50 damage is really great, and you also get the Soul Assumption Double Strike. Not a bad idea if you want to go for that, or alternatively the 300 health, which is also really good on a Visage carry. There's a lot of great talents for the Visage that actually have made him so that he's a bit better. He's often a much as a carry, I mean, sorry, I should have specified that point. As a carry, he's much better. BKB on the Weaver finally, so this might be the time to fight without the fear of Echo Slam. However, Visage still being a really relevant hero here, as he's going to destroy supports, or decimate supports really easily. And of the Creator continues to push his lane in the top lane. For now, they're pretty content with just increasing this Shadow Fiend's net worth to disproportionate levels. As he already got the Hurricane Pike and Silver Edge, he's more than set. He only needs the BKB now to be able to deal with his Earthshaker as well, and then he'll be done with these team fights, so nothing has to do. He gets the extra damage per soul, so he got to level 20, which is really important, and probably going to go for the extra attack range, just why not? And with that, the guys at Unknown will have a really tough time bringing him down in general, especially if he gets just one item of lifesteal. So the Weaver is not going to be your main damage source anymore, but the Weaver herself already deals a lot of damage and is able to push towers really easily as well. Which is something that Unknown's going to have a tough time dealing with, because they will lose all their team fight because, of course, the sword can't do anything against it. And they will also lose all their... They will lose all their team fight because sword won't be able to use Echo Slam efficiently, and Viper also can't use poison attack properly against spell immunity. And that's actually a better talent. Level 20 poison attack affects spell immunity. That would be really good. And even the swap is not really efficient because the Vengeful Spirit doesn't have enough items to be able to, deal with that. And well, packet lost, they say. That is fine. Not a big deal. They still have full 15 minutes of pause time, so it's okay. That means my Vengeance packet loss in his brain. But that's it's okay if people insulting their own teammates. It's not okay if you insult the enemy team. So that's okay. Feel free to flame your own teammates as much as you want. This is Dota after all. I think that's part of what makes Dota so beautiful, right? Next match is going to be still in 3 hours. There's still plenty of time, guys. There's no rush here, honestly. Feel free to keep hitting each other for hours and then get more stream time up. And there it is, Clockwork. 4-staffing, getting a 4-staff on himself and probably gonna go for maybe Ags next, actually, not a bad idea. Overblade me or anything stupid like that. I think the Ags is a good idea. They can fight here with Ned having pretty much his 4-staff Blade Dagger, so much mobility that he can really deal with Sword anyway. And they've already dewarded this sentry. This is really important, actually. I'm gonna go on to the Weaver though. Echo Slime, Global Signs as well, can time himself away, and this Weaver will go down. That's pretty important. Let's see if they can continue this anymore. Unknown seem to want to go on to Ned, and Ned with a Solar Crest can't really do much against that. That's gonna be a dead Rubik. And a Sword himself has a 4-staff. Objective is Loken 6. They missed the hook shot. Loken 6 might just go down here. There's no way he can survive this. His own 4-staff trying to save his own life. Ice Blast finds Sword, and this, wow, this is a really good play actually. Able to turn this around. Sword with the Ice Blast. Doesn't really want to fight too far in. Trying to kill that Clockwork kill. In comes Suze. Want to turn this around. Hits Sword once. It's not going to be enough. Regrets his choice and decides to run away. Could have Hurricane Pike Sword, put him into near the tower range, and of course just killed him. But that would have also been a pretty risky play. This Unknown will be taking a tower down in the bottom lane. Stars themselves. Or sorry, Stars themselves are forced to retreat. And as someone really pointed out, someone pointed out already in the chat, one of the casters. They had BKB. The Weaver had BKB, but didn't use it. Didn't choose to use it, or used it at the last second. Actually, yeah, used it at the last second. Sorry, which is unfortunate. So he used it at the last second, was barely noticeable, and tried to time out himself away, but couldn't do it in time. So he had a way to dispel a global silence, but just couldn't do it in time. And that's just an unfortunate choice. And nope, Shadow Fiend will not use his illusions to go into Roshan and check it. Ned might just go down here. Shadow Blade will find him for sure. Oh, under Sentry. Can he steal something away? Blink, and he will not steal anything. No need for it, apparently. As he's just confident enough that he can just walk himself away. That's a better play anyway, just in case anyone was around. As later Swarm, and of course that presence of the Dark Lord is enough to take this Roshan down for a ride. Let's see. You find Echo Slime, find the Shadow Fiend. But now, sorry, find the Shadow Fiend illusion. But the Roshan will fall as they put too much pressure onto the illusions, but not really caring about the Shadow Fiend himself. And they might even go onto the Viper. They steal the Viper Strike. Hookshot to find him. Ice Blast will miss, but doesn't really matter. Viper's dead anyway. Great cogs from this Clockwork. Living his life, and in goes Wild the Creator. The objective is to go on Mari. The Echo Sun from behind. They stop 2, and Miss Rubik goes down immediately. Sword just divide the team fight very efficiently, allowing him to survive. Shadow Fiend couldn't kill this Vengeful Spirit in time, and now the Global Silence to ensure that they can't punish Sword for what he just did, which is killing Ned in the backlines. Again, taking away this Rubik. But of course, the 11,000 net worth lead is still in favor of Stars. Sword, don't be greedy, gonna go for that rune. Cold Feet it. Do they have vision of him? They do have a gem actually on this Ancient Apparition. All they need is... actually don't... Wow, that's unfortunate. He has gem on him, but they don't actually have the way to stop this Sword from blinking away. Because of course, the Ancient Apparition is too slow. That's why you don't carry gem on this guy precisely. I mean, with Tranquil Boots, it's decently fast, but... meh. Now let's see, go over a minute for the Silencer. Not bad. Whereas Suze himself getting that double damage rune and just continuing the farming, right? So that's 60 gold per minute. That's pretty bad actually in general, but it does help you ward a bit, so that's okay. Stars keeps getting these engagements where they get crushed by the Earthshaker, especially onto the Rubik. They don't feel confident enough to go in without the Rubik, it seems like. But they should, honestly, at this point, especially with an Aegis. They just want to force a team fight and try to get a good team fight out, especially playing in between the Echo Slams. It's really hard to do. Hookshot misses entirely. Then at least finds the Silencer. They want to stop the Global Silence from happening. They will play when the Global Silence is down, and Jericho is going to go down first as Yavs cogs 2 people away. But that's all he accomplished with those cogs, was trying to get someone in the high ground. Very ballsy play. Could have been really good. And the objective is now to go for the tower in the bottom lane. And will definitely fall to the damage. There it is. Going down. Well, the Creator getting the last hit. Ned unable to stop this Earthshaker. He did steal. No way! He stole the Global Silence. That's fantastic. It's time for him to play. It's time for them to fight. The Global Silence is actually off cooldown, but on the Rubik swap from the bench, BKB onto the Seraphine, and there's a Requiem of Souls Global Silence used onto the enemy team, and with this Vengeful Spirit, is not really able to do much. Of course, they couldn't really take advantage of this Global Silence anyway. The Rubik just had to use it anyway, because I think it was about to expire. No, it was not. Why use it then? Okay, there was no need to use it then. Did he steal it when the telekinesis? Wow, I was not expecting him at all. Ned, careful. Echo Slam onto the Clockwork alone. There's the Global Silence from the actual Silencer. And Weaver has to dispel with the BKB. Decides not to because he still has the Aegis. Will choose to lose the Aegis instead. And now we'll come back with a BKB activated. The objective is the Vengeful Spirit. Won't find him in time. Storm to give vision. Destroys the sword. Well, really? The Familiars first? Okay. Wants to Shukuchi up. Wasted that BKB entirely. And Stars just can't find a place to attack him. Mari, cold feet it up. Forced out the way so he doesn't get triggered. And there's a Viper. Attacking Suits. Kills the Weaver. Good swap. Great steal by Sned. Actually saving Weaver's life so he can time himself away. And now they go onto Viper. He's been broken. No more cross of skin onto him. And however, that's not going to do enough because they don't have enough damage to finish him off. That missing Ice Blast was huge. And again, Stars unable to concrete any sort of objectives. They can't really take the tower down. They can't really take anyone else down. And they obviously can't take these shrines as a result. More gold, better team fight, but worse execution in general. Unable to get the proper high ground defense. They just don't have anything to really fight against this high ground, to be perfectly honest. Especially with the build Shadow Fiend decided to go for. And the constant wasting of the BKBs, which are so valuable to fight against this Earthshaker. With this sword himself trying to get the farm up so that, you know, his team can be relevant again. John is going to get his Hulkrest very soon. Maybe this Visage is the answer to everyone's problems. You should stop concentrating so much on the Vengeful Spirit as a valuable target and just go for the Visage instead. Venge yourself is actually going for a Dragonlance. And the question is how powerful Visage can go in the late game. I'm actually not entirely certain. Because the lack of data on competitive Visage makes it so that I'm not really sure, honestly. I can't give you a proper analysis of it. John might be a really useful asset in the late game, or he might really fall off. I mean, he is a pusher in general, is how Visage is played, and you do lose a lot on the Soul Assumption, but Grave Chill becomes a pretty powerful ability coming in the late game because of the duration. 64 attack speed for 7 seconds. If you have items, is really useful. Visage used to be played in Dota 1 as a carry in some situations with a Maelstrom build, and that's not too bad. And with the Familiars, they don't really fall off in the late game as you get them the extra movement speed, right? And they still do a ridiculous amount of damage, especially once you max them. So yeah, I can see him being too relevant. Not in the hyper late game, but, you know, minute 40, 45. Yeah, should still be beneficial to Unknown. Well, Stars themselves, they're not going to lose that power either. Because they do have a Shadow Fiend and a Weir, both heroes go into a really good late game. And especially with the expensive item Shadow Fiend decided to go for, you know, Silver Edge, the Hurricane Pike, the Butterfly. They're nice stat sticks that give you a good amount of stacks, great utility, and in general also pretty good in the late game. The Silver Edge especially is one of those really expensive items that actually gives you a lot of utility. Because of the breaking the Viper is so useful in the late game as well. As it is useful now to stop the Visage damage to some degree, but the Visage does spread the damage a lot between him and his Familiars, so it's not that easy. And there's the Clockwork getting an Axe almost completed. That's going to help him out a lot as well to get better initiations, much more ballsy ones, so that he can play a bit more aggressively. Instead of using the Force Staff to initiate, as we've seen it so many times, using that Aghanim Scepter or Hookshot to initiate, and then Force Staffing himself away, which will be really useful. Notice that he's stealing farm off all of his supports. The supports are actually just helping him get that really core item of the Aghanim Scepter. It might be what they need to actually go into the high ground, or push into the high ground, because that Clockwork Hookshot I mean, it's pretty efficient at trying to... You know, trying to use the clockwork hookshot to kill heroes, unknown in general. They're pretty weak heroes that also get screwed over by positioning issues, especially the Vengeful Spirit, for example, the Earthshaker, the Silencer. So the Clockwork can have a lot of impact, as we've seen before, with just good cogs, and now that you can hookshot him more aggressively than he has before, then you can use it multiple times in a team fight, and longer team fights benefit you more anyway. As you have a bit of burst damage, but much more reliable heroes than the Shadow Fiend and the Weaver that just want long team fights in general, long chaotic team fights. Zeus trying to kill those familiars. Ooh, resummon so they don't get any gold. But now you know that he wasted a resummoning. It's time to fight. If he doesn't get two familiars in the same team fight, you can just attack him. It's much more useful. The question though is, will stars waste their BKBs again? Which is something that we've seen a couple times, and that's been really hurting them. Let's see, Soothes. The objective is to try to take down that tier 3 in the bottom lane. Oh, with a hookshot, finding the Earthshaker. There's also the Fissure stolen, and of course the cogs. This is what we were talking about. That hookshot can be really effective at taking down heroes that are in a bad position, and with those cogs, just really good for him. They're able to take down an Earthshaker, no initiation. They're gonna either force a buyback or... I mean, they either force a buyback on him, or at least kill everyone else. Ooh, good swap, saving them. And actually swapping the Shadow Fiend, saving any damage, but the Broken Viper's about to go down. That Fissure really hurting him. The Swarm also finding him, and the Global Silence from the Silencer won't do much, actually, that team fight. In comes the Earthshaker. He's already popped back, has an Echo Slam ready, so they already forced that buyback. Couldn't kill the Viper, though. As the Earthshaker walks in, the objective is Ned, but Ned can always blink away, so this is not the best of options to just go against this Rubik. Or Rubik is slowly trying to build up the Aghanims himself. Or extra enchant totem usage. I mean, the Aghanim's enchant totem is not that bad. And oh, I took one of those familiars out. Does he have familiars yet? No, that's going to be 45 seconds, only 2 familiars. That's quite crucial. This next team fight could be theirs if they want to. Losing those familiars can be very important. Again, you want to take the tier 3 though, so you can take shrines, but they're not putting too much pressure. Maybe waiting for the next Roshan, just trying to force buybacks. If you wait for the next Roshan, it's going to come back in what? Well, no, now. Oh, it's back now. Okay. Well, it's back immediately, so... That's pretty good. Swap into Walk the Creator. I don't know what that's really going to do. I don't really see him. Entry. BKB used by Walk of the Creator. A bunch of just almost initiations. And even comes Yobs with the hook shot. Good thing as Ag, so you can waste that. You can still run away with the Glimmer Cape. Should be perfectly fine. And again, no actual intent to kill anyone. Seems like by both teams. Stars. Their job is now to go for the Roshan. And to take advantage of it if they want to. Okay, that's the 2 familiars gone. That's pretty good, actually. Because... Oh no, he just resummoned them. Never mind. That's the 2 familiars gone because he resummoned them. I thought that you killed them just really quickly, but that's not the case. But he's actually going for an Orchid. Wow, Bloodthorn. That's not bad, carry Visage, but without the familiars, you're going to really lose a lot of that potential. And now that they just saw the Roshan, that's definitely going to be a Roshan being taken by Stars. Presence of the Dark Lord, but Swarm plus the Desolator damage is enough to take this Roshan easily. And all Unknown can really do to defend this is wait for an Echo Slam, right? And hope that the Echo Slam is good enough. And actually, they could try to defend this. They need to. I don't think you can really fight against Aegis and Cheese next time, but they already lost it. Sword won't be able to go in there in time. That Shadow Blade was not going to be too effective against the Ancient Apparition. Or someone has Gem. Yeah, the Rubik has Gem this time, so not the best of options. Rubik actually farming with that Fissure. Almost getting that Aghanims. And now let's see. The objective is to go into Jan. No. They just saw him in the bottom lane, wanted to punish that, even used the smoke gank for it. Jan will TP in time. Good game sense by him. Can they end? It does seem like they're trying not to end, right? It does seem like they're trying not to end and they're just waiting too much. But of course, they know that they have better late game, so they can wait as long as they want to. If you're Stars, I mean, obviously. By they, I mean Stars. They only left some time for Jimai to recover, but it's still not enough. He still needs many more items to be relevant in this late game, despite his great agility gain. You need a bit more levels and items to be relevant against someone like, for example, a Shadow Fiend who's already level 25, you got the extra attack range and everything. Or against a Weaver who's also getting close to level 25, but still beats you by 4 levels. And they were waiting for the Roshan, playing it safely. What is that Ice Blast for? Oh, so you can't heal up. Oh, that's clever. I never thought of using the Ice Blast in that way, but yeah, I mean, those familiars are really important. So why not? They fissure it, so they kill both familiars. That's 10 seconds without full familiars. That's not bad. Can they start pushing this time? They have a BKB, just don't waste it. Maybe wait for the Roshan next time. Or this time. Wait for the Aegis, rather, to be destroyed. Aldrey has Assault Cuirass if he wants to. Magic Missile, there's no swap. And they go. Chain of Stuns. The Viper starts hitting him, and they force him offensively. He just has to keep fighting. And the Aegis doesn't want to be lost. He uses Silver Edge trying to fight the Viper. And he force stuffs himself, trying to get a bit more damage onto the Viper before he dies. Aegis available. Wrecking of Souls as well. So Suits still not using anything. They force them to safety. Where's the Ice Blast? The Echo Summon to 2. And they want to turn this around. Global Signs as well. But the Telekinesis stops Sword right at the right moment. And Sword will be hit by that Ice Blast. Suits has to run away. Wrecking of Souls right into Jimati. They destroy Jimati in just 3 hits. Also the Silencer. Stars is doing it finally. Trying to attack these towers. And a swap stolen by Ned. That does so much. Sword walks in. But that's nothing because the Shadow Fiend just destroys him in 2 hits. And they don't have buyback on this Earthshaker. They actually buy back on the Clockwork. They almost kill the Viper, but the Weaver is unable to finish him off. Full HP, but not too confident going in. They took the tier 3, and it's time to go for the Shrines. Why waste a buyback on the Clockwork if you're not going to go in entirely? Seems like they do want to at least punish them a second time. They don't have Earthshaker or the Silencer, so that's all their team fight gone. And that's time for Unknown to start losing some racks. Time for the Stars guys to start pushing. Let's see, Sooths. With the Earnest Shadows. Building back up to full health. And wanting to attack these towers. Ned finding telekinesis, beautiful hookshot as well. And this poor stunned out J Madi can't do much. They forced him to safety actually. Good job of the Viper. But the objective by Stars is just take the racks right now. And there's 40 seconds till the Earthshaker. That's all that matters right now. He's the only one that can really turn this game around. Suits fighting against the Viper. BKB activated. And the Viper will survive. They're not hit by the Ice Blast. J-Madi will sacrifice himself for his carry. That's pretty important. Battery Assault not dealing too much damage to J-Madi. In fact, Clockwork will go down while the Creator is still trying to kill him. And this AA might also die himself. The Soul Assumption dealing a lot of damage. The Familiar's trying to finish him off, but not in time. And those Familiars are also going to go down thanks to Suits' damage. Rubik helping out there a lot. Already taken one lane of racks and want to go for more, but Suits doesn't have the Aegis anymore. The cheese has already been eaten by the Weaver himself, and Suits. Oh, he's being chased by a Viper for a bit too long. Viper strike on the Viper. He's been frozen to death and destroyed. Viper will be forced to buy back. If anything, Jericho can't really fight this. Also losing his life. They kill the Shadow Fiend, but he buybacks immediately, and the goal points go on Gian. But Echo Slam from downtown kills the Rubik, and Sword gets the kill they were looking for. No more initiation for them. They already forced the buyback on the Shadow Fiend anyway, who's trying to try to help him. Lilkin 6, the next objective of aggression, and he's gonna go down himself. Soul Assumption destroying him. Stars, a lot of buybacks wasted. Did absolutely nothing with them. Absolutely nothing. Could have played this safer, could have played this aggressively, and they did not, none of the two. They just chosen in between, which did not work out for them. They want to finish this game so desperately, and I can tell, but they're just not able to kill them, apparently. Weaver himself grabs the regen and get back to full health. I know. I mean, this game is just going for so long. 15-minute game where Stars just knows they've... I mean, I hate saying this because, of course, it's a 50-minute game. Anything can happen, you know, a bad engagement from Stars, but they should be winning every single team fight from now on. It's just, they have a much better late game. It's out of the question. You're up against a Viper and a Bench. A pause that comes out by Unknown. And oh, they're running out of time, honestly, in terms of pause time. Just to inform them. Of course. I mean, it's just because everyone wants this game to end, right? No, I'm kidding. It does seem like Mighty's or Stars, sorry, are starting to get a bit queasy about this. Yeah, it's a terrible. Bench is a terrible hard carry playing behind. Yep. You can recover, certainly. Don't get me wrong. They could recover, but it's a really hard carry to fight with. Especially because you've decided that Gian is going to be your hard carry anyway. I want to see how strong this research can become, though, but he hasn't been having too much success just yet. And the silencer himself might grow to epic proportions, but with 24 intelligence, minute 46, you've already given up on that fact, right? You're not really too concerned about that silencer being able to do that. All they say, and it's gonna start. Alright. Of the creator wants to take another grind. Probably gonna wait for the next Roshan. I mean, with all these buybacks wasted, you really do need to wait for the next Roshan. So that's gonna be at least a couple more minutes added to this game. At least 3 minutes that they want to just keep on farming. I don't know what else you want to get on this Shadow Fiend really besides Trial Boots, which was really important. Buybacking without Trial Boots was a really weird choice as well. I mean, Moonshard, that's the only thing I can see come to mind. You even see a Mjolnir coming out of the Weaver just to increase his attack speed. You know, to be able to deal with possible super creeps, I suppose, to some degree. It's also okay with the damage you deal with the Mjolnir is okay, in general. In terms of, like, the lightning damage together with the Gemme attack could be a double lightning. I'm a bigger fan of the crit on the Weaver, with the double crit Daedalus, as opposed to even Bloodthorn, but, nah, doesn't really matter. And we will see the guys from Unknown wasting a smoke completely. They can't really do this anymore, honestly. Yeah, they did go for the Soul Assumption double strike. They can't really do this anymore. They need to be able to use the smokes efficiently because they're still playing from behind. If everyone want a chance to win, they need to be able to win this game from behind by getting a really good team fight. And that's all they can do, honestly. This game lasted so long that even though it was a 6-hour delay between 2 games, we actually have the next game, ProDota Cup, being played in just 3 hours. That's how long. You know, it's best of 3 lasted more than almost 3 hours. All the delays and everything. Shadowblade from J Mari. I'm trying to find someone to get with a sword. That's the objective. While the creator might be found out. There's the Echo Slam available. Stun. Oh, the Echo Slam. Hookshot to stop the extra damage. And can they save her in time? No, the silence will not be good enough. So that's Lost Weaver. That's pretty big for Unknown, actually. And they can kill more. Well, Jimadi wants to sacrifice himself, maybe. Is this the best play? No, he seems pretty confident. He wants to go into Yavs and we'll be able to kill him. Yavs with a battery assault finishes off the Vengeful Spirit. Ned, meanwhile, in the Roshan pit, trying to use the vision advantage, but he can't actually. He just goes down. Meanwhile, the Viper, Frozen Sob, Glimmer Cape, they have the Requiem of Souls destroying the Viper, who just lost his son and children, and, I mean, just lost his grandchildren with how much damage that Requiem of Souls did. It literally hurt his soul. And with his stars, they even, I mean, they forced a buyback? Really? They got a buyback. They just want to finish this now. They're tired of this game. And the Viper, with 75 seconds down, he doesn't have a buyback. Vengeful Spirit, so he does have a buyback, sorry. Vengeful Spirit does not. Clockwork does not have a buyback, neither does a Rubik. So it seems like an unnecessary buyback onto the Weaver, I'll admit, considering you're not really doing much. But hey, they're going to continue pushing this tower anyway, trying to get that tier 3 in time. The Storm doesn't really do much. We'll have the creator. The objective is to go for this tier 3. Can he do it? With Chilling Touch onto him. Oh, there they go. Arcane Curse. Find the Weaver. Enough. Again, what are you planning on doing with these buybacks? Why keep using these buybacks? Ice Blast hits no one, and yep, another buyback did nothing for stars. When they can just wait it for the Weaver, I suppose. I mean, they are playing with a lot of tier 1s. They still have this tier 1 in the mid lane. They have a couple tier 2s already alive, but in the pushing power by Unknown, it's not too high necessarily. But I would still not just waste my buybacks because I feel confident in the game, right? That doesn't seem logical considering the way you've been playing. Yeah, Shadow Fiend at least finishes Assault Caress, which is pretty good. And also Trial Boots. Sorry, Assault Caress was finished for a while. Finishes Trial Boots. And I'm gonna get Moonshard next, probably. As Weaver himself is almost done with the Mjolnir. Not even saving for buyback himself, because he lost it anyway. And there goes Sword. Tries to kill someone. Ned, Telekinesis, with the Requiem of Souls. Can they kill this poor Vengeful Spirit? They should be able to. They even used that Ancient Apparition ultimate. No Agonism, no need for it, apparently. As Wob follows in. The objective is to go on Gian. He's quite fast. This little speed car racing Weaver. Oh no, better objective go onto Sword, and even uses the Manta style to get a bit of extra damage onto Sword. He tries to get away, they don't have any vision of him, and unfortunately that will save Sword. A Shadow Blade in the late game, apparently the best item in the game, as Rubik wasn't close by to finish him off with the gem. Sword again, being hit by the Rocket Flare, and he himself really low on mana, so can't fight entirely right now. He just wasted the Echo Slam earlier, so it might be time for them to actually put a little bit of pressure. There's the hookshot from the Clockwork, goes in, Sword. Nope, actually they silenced the Clockwork if I'm not mistaken. Seemed like it. No, they silenced someone. Not entirely sure who they did. I'm just hearing the things at this point. Defense is so long. Soothes here. Hit by the Viper. Another hookshot to save the Viper, or to save the Shadow Fiend from any further damage. Cogs to push him away. And Yavs. Seems like you'll enemy team away. Go for another Shrine, and then see if they can at least take for the Roshan, who's going to spawn in 20 seconds. 52 minutes in. And yeah, that Roshan will definitely spawn in 9 seconds. They're hopeful of it. I don't know why they left the wind there. Come on, check it, check it, check it. No, please, check the Roshan for God's sake. Why do they have the timing so wrong? I know it's like random timings, but it wouldn't spawn. Like if they... Now you should check. Agent Rune. No, Weaver, 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 Weaver. Look! Look, man! I know you might not understand the Roshan that spawned at this second. I understand that entirely. There it is, finally. But you know exactly when you kill the Roshan. It spawns on the even minute. You know, it's never between minutes, so out of the question. It's not between 7 and 10. It's 7, 8, 9, or 10. Hey, that's beyond the point. Here goes Jimari. See, on the Suits, silenced. Suits should be fine. BKB still available, so it's okay. And Unknown will not be able to get this team fight out. Now that they know that Roshan is up, it's time to take it ideally, but it's really, really hard. Considering that, well, actually, it's not that hard. They take it really quickly. Sword wants to go in. Echo Slam onto 2. This might turn this around, but no! Sword is destroyed in seconds. Global Silence is absolutely nothing. They break the Viper. He forces himself to the high ground, and that's perfectly fine as the Clockwork tries to find Jian. Clockwork himself might just lose his life, and poor Yav survives just barely as the Shadow Fiend is being hurt by all of this Visage's damage. In comes the Requiem of Souls, destroys Jericho. Zeus dies, but at the same time kills 2 with him, and poor Viper walks in, who's still hurt by the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast, and destroyed. Sword wasted a buyback is not really that useful. They point at the BKB, the gem, sorry, on the ground, and they're able to destroy, or to get the gem again. Here's Loken 6. The objective of this Weaver is to just destroy the Roshan. They see Sword again. Can't kill him in time. The gem, who picked that up? It was Loken 6. In comes the Viper. They're all bought back. Sooth is back in here. He has Silver Edge. Viper, you don't want to fight against a Silver Edge Shadow Fiend, even though this high ground is really beneficial to you. In goes Sword. The objective is to kill the Weaver. Can't do it in time. Sword almost goes down. In goes Viper. And this Roshan about to go down, but he's out of the pit. Finally killing. Who's going to take the last hit? That is finally what the Creator taking the Aegis of the Immortal. Also the last hit. He survives. They go into Viper. They can fight really aggressively. And this Viper will end up going down. The Aegis loss doesn't really matter as the Weaver loses his life for a kill. They force the buyback onto the Viper. Finally killing him off. Also the buyback onto Silencer. Also killing him off. And with this, Stars seems to be getting finally the upper hand of the game. It's time to go for Rax. And Sword, the only surviving member of this team, will be picked off by Wob the Creator at the right time. Unknown. Only a Visage surviving. And it seems like Stars will be coming back entirely. And the guys from Stars will be destroying every single Rax enemy team. Oh, in goes the hook shot. Finds nobody. Yep, that's all the structure's gone. And finally, the Brazilian team, after trolling the enemy team a bit, and of course leaving all their items on the floor, very confident they've won this game. Well, they will be taking the last Ancient, as the GG is called, and Stars will be winning this final match of the best of 3, meaning that they classify themselves to the next round of the ProDota Cup. Allowing Unknown, well, no, making it so that Unknown will be losing this round and, of course, be out of the tournament. That said, guys, we are done for the time being. We'll come back in 3 hours, the next match between Elite Wolves and Wheel. Hope you've enjoyed this match and hope you've enjoyed the cast. If you did, feel free to follow me on Twitter at DSwordfish. If you didn't, feel free to tell me why in the chat. As always, welcome. I always welcome criticism. In terms of the people that couldn't watch this on Smashcats, properly, sorry, feel free to check out my Twitter, and there's the YouTube where I post all the VODs afterwards, so you can check that out, and that way you can actually see the VODs in high 180p, 60 FPS as I usually record them. And of course, this has been ProDota Cup American Region, sponsored by XBet. We'll come back in 3 more hours. Stream will go down. See you guys then.